Have you ever completely stopped yourself from pursuing a massive dream, wearing what you truly want to wear, or speaking your authentic mind, simply because you were utterly terrified of what other people might say about you? We spend our entire lives desperately twisting ourselves into uncomfortable, painful shapes, trying incredibly hard to perfectly please a society that is entirely too busy worrying about itself to actually care about our happiness. It is a completely exhausting, invisible mental prison that stops millions of highly talented people from ever reaching their true potential, burying their unique gifts under the incredibly heavy weight of the world's meaningless opinions. Before we dive into today's life-changing lesson on the absolute, incredible mental freedom of finally ignoring your critics, please take a quick moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue bringing you these powerful stories. Many years ago, in a lush, sprawling kingdom defined by its many small, interconnected villages, lived a kind, hard-working father named Tobias and his energetic young son, Leo. Tobias had fallen into a deep, painful financial debt, and his only incredibly valuable possession was a beautiful, strong gray donkey that he decided to take to the grand capital city to sell at the royal market. Early one bright, sunny morning, Tobias and Leo began their long journey, peacefully walking side by side next to the strong donkey, completely enjoying the warm sunlight and the beautiful singing of the forest birds. As they happily passed through the very first village, a group of loud, arrogant merchants sitting outside a tavern began aggressively pointing at them and laughing hysterically. "Look at those absolute fools," the merchants shouted, walking perfectly good shoes into the muddy dirt when they have a completely healthy, strong beast of burden that they could easily be riding. Feeling a deep, embarrassing flush of shame, Tobias quickly picked up his young son, placed him gently on the donkey's strong back, and quietly continued walking down the path to avoid any further public mockery. When they arrived at the second village a few hours later, a group of grumpy, elderly men sitting on a wooden porch shook their heads in absolute disgust at the sight of the young boy riding while the father walked. "What a horribly disrespectful, completely spoiled generation we have raised," the old men muttered loudly, forcing his poor, exhausted father to walk in the blazing sun while the lazy child rides like a selfish king. Desperate to absolutely ensure that everyone thought he was raising a respectful son, Tobias immediately pulled Leo down from the donkey and awkwardly climbed onto the animal's back himself. As they slowly entered the third village near the river, a group of angry, compassionate women violently, completely scolded Tobias, screaming that he was a cruel, heartless monster of a father. "How can you possibly sit up there like a giant, selfish tyrant, resting your lazy legs while your tiny, exhausted little boy is forced to march through the painful, burning dust?" The women yelled furiously. Completely paralyzed by the constant, aggressive criticism and terrified of being judged by the next town, Tobias quickly pulled his young son up onto the donkey, and they carefully rode the poor animal together. But as they proudly crossed a narrow wooden bridge near the final village, a passionate animal rights group began violently throwing small stones at them, completely horrified by the heavy burden on the donkey's back. "You are both absolute monsters, completely crushing that innocent, helpless creature under your massive, heavy weight, and you do not deserve to own such a beautiful animal." The furious crowd chanted loudly. Tobias was now completely overwhelmed with deep panic, realizing that absolutely no matter what decision he made, the angry, judgmental world was going to violently criticize him and call him a terrible person. In a desperate, incredibly foolish attempt to finally please absolutely everyone, Tobias and Leo jumped off, tied the donkey's legs to a long wooden pole, and attempted to heavily carry the struggling animal across the bridge on their own shoulders. The massive, frightened donkey, completely terrified by being suspended upside down in the air, began violently kicking and thrashing, eventually slipping from their sweaty grip and plunging directly into the deep, rushing river below. Because its heavy legs were completely tied together, the beautiful animal was instantly swept away by the violent current, taking Tobias's only source of wealth and his family's entire future down the river forever. An old, wise traveler who had silently watched the entire tragic, humiliating series of events from the shadows of the forest slowly walked up to the devastated father, who was crying on his knees in the dirt. "My friend," the old traveler said with a deeply gentle, profoundly sorrowful voice, "you have just learned the absolute hardest, most painful lesson that a man can ever learn in this deeply judgmental world. If you constantly change your path to desperately please every single person who shouts at you, you will eventually lose your direction, lose your precious cargo, and completely lose your own identity." This ancient, brilliant fable holds an incredibly urgent, life-altering truth for anyone who is currently paralyzed by the toxic fear of what their friends, family, or completely random strangers on the internet might think of them. You must fundamentally understand that human beings are naturally wired to judge, criticize, and project their own massive, hidden insecurities onto anyone brave enough to actually do something different with their lives. If you decide to work incredibly hard and become wealthy, society will loudly call you a greedy, selfish capitalist who entirely forgot where they came from. If you decide to choose a simple, peaceful life and reject the endless chase for money, society will immediately label you as a lazy, unmotivated loser who has absolutely no ambition. If you loudly speak your brilliant, authentic truth, they will call you incredibly arrogant and completely obnoxious. But if you stay quietly in the corner, they will say you are entirely weak and easily forgotten. The absolute, undeniable reality is that there is no magical, perfect combination of actions you can possibly take that will successfully prevent other people from misunderstanding you or unfairly judging your life. The heavy, exhausting burden of trying to carry the massive donkey of public opinion will ultimately completely destroy your mental health and drown your biggest, most beautiful dreams in the river of regret. The people who are violently judging your choices are not paying your expensive bills. They are not crying your hot tears in the middle of the night, and they will absolutely not be there to live with the painful consequences of your unfulfilled life. Why are you handing the incredibly valuable steering wheel of your one precious existence over to passengers who are completely too terrified to actually drive their own cars? The exact moment you finally accept that people are going to unfairly judge you anyway, you unlock the ultimate, breathtaking superpower of total, absolute mental freedom. You finally realize that you might as well be loudly criticized for doing exactly what you desperately love, rather than being quietly judged for living a miserable, fake life that completely drains your soul. Take a massive, deep breath today. Look deeply into the mirror and completely forgive yourself for all the precious time you have wasted trying to perfectly fit into boxes created by small-minded people. Start boldly wearing the clothes you want to wear, confidently starting the business you want to build, and loudly speaking the beautiful truth that has been quietly burning inside your chest for years. Let the angry villagers point, let the jealous merchants violently laugh, and let the confused world completely misunderstand you while you peacefully walk toward your own massive, beautiful destiny. Your absolute only responsibility in this short, fragile life is to be fiercely, unapologetically true to yourself, entirely ignoring the cheap seats where the loudest critics always seem to sit. When you finally stop desperately performing for the invisible audience, the overwhelming anxiety instantly fades away, and your daily life becomes an incredible, vibrant masterpiece of your own brilliant design. Drop the heavy pull, let go of the impossible burden of public opinion, and boldly walk exactly the way you were entirely meant to walk, regardless of who happens to be watching. If you found true value in this story and learned something incredibly important about finding your own freedom today, please hit that like button, leave a comment below about your journey, and subscribe to the channel for more powerful life lessons.